With us now, James Craig, former Detroit police chief, who was listening into this reporting. And Chief, if we could just get your thoughts on who the suspects are. Maybe we'll start in Las Vegas and what we know at this hour.
Well, what we know, and Emma, thanks for having me on your show. We have an individual who had some personal issues. He served in the military. There were no issues that we know of. He sold real estate. Then at some point, he self-radicalized and ended up in the place where he's at now. What I found interesting, though, he wanted to initially go after his family, but the conversation now goes into, well, maybe he thought, or we're presuming he thought, he would get more publicity if he went to a high-profile location like New Orleans. So that's about all we know. We're talking about, one thing I had a concern about early on when the FBI reported this incident, when the person that was given the brief indicated, well, this was not a terrorist event. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we could say that we don't know if it was a foreign actor or a domestic actor, but, you know, it's so clear, and having been part of planning these high-profile situations in different cities that I've worked, and when there's a problem, you have to come out very quickly, but with the best and most accurate information. Yeah. And when you don't do that, you create unnecessary fear. So, and then the other part of this thing that was problematic is coming out early. He didn't work alone. Well, where did that come from? Was that just some idle rumor? So we have to be careful in what we say and how we say it. Yeah,
that's such a great point. And tapping into your background of obviously security for major events in a city, this was a big one. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the Sugar Bowl, you've got people coming in from all over the place. Of course, New Orleans is going to be hosting the Super Bowl next month. And so that's why we're learning some of those more concrete steel barriers were taken out for repairs. Is that acceptable? Or if you would have known that, would you have something else in place to block any sort of vehicular traffic?
Emma, what a great point. You know, the first thing when I heard that these barriers were inoperable or removed, first of all, I got to believe in New Orleans, in the French Quarter, they have regular ongoing celebrations, especially on a New Year's Eve. And certainly, what happened in New Orleans, I'm not saying it could not, we have prevented it, possibly. But I know if we look at best practices, you look at what's going on in other cities, we did this in Detroit. I mean, so we host a major Thanksgiving Day parade by way of example, but we certainly deploy large city type vehicles, could be a garbage truck or another large vehicle, which certainly they can stop or prevent vehicles from driving through the parade route or up on sidewalks. So I guess their short fix was maybe putting police cars, deploy them throughout the area to kind of block that. It didn't work. Right. But why would you remove barriers, or why wouldn't you put other barriers in? And then how much surveillance was going on of that location? I'm not certain, I certainly hate to be critical without having all the facts, but I'm not certain if New Orleans has the appropriate level of surveillance, a real-time crime center that can monitor that area in real time and see the potential threat that's ongoing. But I will say this, what I saw with those New Orleans police officers was phenomenal. They ran towards gunfire, they engaged a suspect, and certainly had that not happened, there may have been many more deaths. But when you look at this tactic that's used by, whether it's a domestic or foreign terrorist suspect, this has happened all over the world. Right. Yes. Look what just happened in Germany. Yep. So why wouldn't we pay attention to those type of events? And certainly as we plan, we anticipate a violent attack of this nature.
Absolutely. We've seen it, unfortunately. Several examples of it where an individual is using a vehicle to run over innocent civilians. Got to obviously have the best precautions in place. And you're right. I saw that video, too, of those officers running towards the danger. No hesitation there to try to stop the violence. Chief Craig, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
Have a great
Take care.